Good morning. Welcome back to the Namaste experience on this second day of 2026. We have come to a new cycle and we celebrate that cycle. One of the ways that we celebrate something new is to look at that which has been old, that which no longer serves. And that can sometimes even be the definitions that we claim for certain words or experiences, and to let them be transformed into something higher, into a higher frequency. That's something, for example, that we experienced with this book, The Annihilated Self. The word annihilated, I know for a lot of people, seems like a harsh, even violent word. For something to be annihilated means for it to be destroyed. But what we did was we transformed the word and the experience of that word into a higher frequency so that we realize that there's nothing real that can be annihilated, only that which never was. So, I'm going to read something from this in just a moment to get us started, but I want to begin by also saying that here in Ashland, where I've been for the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've been able to catch up with some dear friends and people that I've known for a long time. And one of the people that I've been spending some time with is my friend Gary Lundgren. Gary is a wonderful film director. He and I made Redwood Highway together. I think many of you have probably seen that movie. If you haven't, I think even Vicky, you would love Redwood Highway. I'm sure you've seen it. It's a very gentle movie about transformation. And making that movie with Gary, who I just love working with, was a great honor. So he and I have been talking about a new project that I think we are going to be making together. And it's a movie about Thomas Merton, the great Trappist monk, Thomas Merton and Thich Nhat Hanh. Many people don't know that in 1966, Merton and Thich Nhat Hanh met together at Thomas Merton's little cabin, his hermitage in the woods there outside his monastery of Gethsemane. And it was at a very interesting time in Merton's life. And I think it's a very relevant subject for us today as we are letting go of the old and letting the new or new understanding of the old enter into our minds and into our experience. So I'm telling you that because in a moment I want to share a video that I made uh, with Thomas Merton in mind. And we're going to be, like with the word annihilated, we're going to be introducing a new word that we're going to transform. And that word is contempt. Contempt. But not quite yet. I want to read just a little bit here from the annihilated self to prepare us for the renewal of that new word, contempt. And this is going to be from chapter 1. So let me read a little bit in this, and we'll see how love transforms the word annihilation. This is love speaking. Beloved, the path you seek is not a path at all. It is an undoing, not a journey forward, but a falling inward. It begins the moment you grow weary of becoming anything and at last consent to be nothing. To be nothing, that sounds like death, the soul says. It is death, but not the death that you fear. It is the sweet relinquishment of all that is not you until only I remain. You call it annihilation, but I call it union. The flame does not mourn the wick when it becomes light. But I've spent my whole life trying to be holy, perfect, and worthy. Would you have me abandon all of that? Yes, especially that. Holiness fashioned by striving is still yours. And what is yours cannot be mine, cannot belong to love. Only when you finally stop reaching out your hands will you be free to receive me. Only when you let go of the idea of worthiness will you see that you are worthy only because I am within you. Then what must I do? Nothing. That's the holiest of all acts. Do not climb, do not grasp, do not adorn your soul in virtue like a veil. Just be still, be bare. Consent to be seen by me as I see you, without effort, without defense, without name. But if I surrender everything, what remains? And here's the key. Only me, only love. And I am not other than you, dear one. I am what you are beneath your illusory self. In our union, the singer vanishes and only the song remains. The drop falls into the ocean and becomes the ocean. What is lost? Only the illusion of separation. What is gained? The all. So that's the transformation of the word annihilation. Not something negative, not something to fear, but as love says, it's just another word for union, to come into perfect union with what is true. So, I want to show you a little clip of a movie that I made where Thomas Merton does something very similar. I found a talk that Merton gave on the world and contempt for the world. This is something that we hear in almost every tradition. The word contempt is often used, to have contempt for the world of form, contempt for the world of the ego, to try and push it away. And that's similar to the word annihilation. But we have a new understanding of what that means now, because as Merton is about to say, it's not a contempt for what is, but a contempt for what is not. So let me show you this clip, and then we'll come back together and we'll talk about it a little bit more. So 1 second, let me go ahead and put it up on the screen. And Ravi and you guys, just in case it does become wonky, just let me know and I'll stop this, and maybe just send me a text and I'll stop this, and then you guys can start it on your end. I just wanted to make sure that we have good internet before we do anything. So here we go.
The Christian effort to become liberated from the world was not an effort to become liberated from something that was there, but an effort to become liberated from something that wasn't there. Maybe the world in that sense just isn't there. Maybe the trouble is thinking that it's there. Now, if you examine the great religions, all the great religions that started in around the 6th century BC and then led up to Christianity and so on, you find they all have this in common. This was one of the great intuitions of Buddhism, Hinduism, Israel too, from a certain point of view, some of the great Oriental religions, and Christianity too. One of the great discoveries was that there was not something absolutely objectively given to which you had to submit. In other words, the great discovery of all these religions was that you didn't have to be in submission to what is given. You don't have to accept it. Because it's not something that you just take or leave. That's not the kind of relationship. See? It's a different sort of a proposition. But one of the things that we have to remember right away was, and this is terribly important, see, contempt for the world for the early Christian does not necessarily mean contempt for something that's there. It means contempt for it because it isn't there. It isn't there. It isn't there. It isn't there. It's contempt for what isn't there, not contempt for what is there.
Contempt for what is not there. In other words, union with what is there, full acceptance with what is present. The only thing we can accept, which is that which is right in front of us, right before us, every moment, love itself. So I love this when Merton says that maybe the problem is in thinking that the world is actually there. Isn't this something that we hear from all the great mystics? Isn't this something that we read in A Course in Miracles? The idea that there is a world that can limit us, rather than realizing that the only thing that can actually limit us are ideas about the world. And so contempt for the world is not about being contemptuous towards something that is there, rejecting something that is there, but rejecting what is not there. And it's almost like a double negative. When you reject something that is not there, that which is forever wholly, completely present reveals itself easily and automatically. And what is it that reveals itself? Only love, only God, only now. As I'm looking at the screen, I see the shirt that I'm wearing, which says, I read the news today. Oh boy. A line from the great Beatles song. And it's easy if you do read the news to say, oh boy, this is not good. This is challenging. There's a lot going on in the world right now to be avoided, to worry about, to be concerned about. But what we're hearing from Thomas Merton is don't worry about anything, because if you focus only on what is true, only that which is known and seen within the mind of what we sometimes call God, then that which is true fills our experience. So I thought it would be interesting to take that word, contempt, and compare it with annihilation, and to realize that this is not something to avoid. This is something to celebrate. To have contempt or to reject that which isn't there, which is just another way of saying only love is real, and I will embrace only that. So I'll keep you all posted as we move forward with this possible film. The film will be called Merton's Dream, and it covers a time in his life when he is alone at his hermitage, and he feels in the late 60s like he should be more active, that sitting alone in a hermitage or in a monastery, maybe writing articles, but not being out there doing something about what's going on in the world. Of course, in the 1960s, we can see a lot of parallel. There was a lot going on that people were very concerned about. And then along comes this very quiet Buddhist monk, Thich Nhat Hanh, who gets Thomas Merton to see that all you need to do is to relax into what is. Don't worry about where you are, what you're doing, where your feet are standing. Just be wholly present to where you are right now. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and first turn it over to Vicky, and then we'll let Penny Honey take us home. So Vicky, what do you think of all that?
I love it. Thank you, Brother James. Thomas Merton is quite a character anyway. So he's a great one to use. And for him to go into that kind of isolation was wondrous because that wasn't what he started out as I understand. And of course, the first thing that came to mind, nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Most of you, or some of you know, that's the beginning of the Course in Miracles. And it says, if you get this, you don't need this book because that's the whole experience to finally not be fooled by changing forms, not be deceived by them, and understand that what is life is eternal always, no matter what changing forms above the surface may come and go and look at. And that's the experience, namaste experience. Here we are coming into that experience of the light and the love that is real. What my message yesterday, James, you weren't here, is be dazzled by the light. Pay attention to the light because that is what's real. And the unreal stuff will fade out because we're not nurturing it. It will die of neglect. Anyway, I'm looking very forward to this film with Merton and Thich Nhat Hanh, and because collectively, Joel Goldsmith also was another one who understood that the isolated hermit in any tradition isn't isolated, but he's living at the level of cause and consciousness, living at the root level where choice, where free will to be who we are as God created us operates. And putting his energy there was the most powerful thing not only he but any of us can do. That's why we need moments of stillness from externals, why we need letting all the external noises be annihilated from our consciousness so we allow what's real to come forth. Let it come forth. And Penny spoke of that the other day. Let it, what we really are, speak to us instead of us speaking to it and covering it up with our perceptions. So the world of perception, have contempt for. The world of love and light, be dazzled by it. Listen with your heart. It's an experience that Namaste calls us to every day, to live in the love of the Lord. Thank you, Brother James. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vicky. Oh, something I didn't mention, by the way, is that I will be playing the role of Thomas Merton
Oh, that's great.
in this movie.
That's great.
We have the same haircut, so it's a step in the right direction. All right, Penny Honey, all of you back there at my favorite home, Namaste Village. What would you like to share with us this morning, Penny Honey?
Good morning. It's good to see you, James, and your Thomas Merton haircut. Thomas Merton, one of my faves. Just rich with wisdom, yeah. He had this quote, and I have carried this with me for a long time. He said, "You do not need to know precisely what is happening or exactly where it is all going. What you need is to recognize the possibilities and the challenges offered by the present moment and to embrace them with courage, faith, and hope." That's how we thrive in the now moment. That is when we truly do get to reject what is not there. The absence of love, it is not there. The absence of light, it is not there. The absence of connection, of joy, the absence is not there. It is not there because it is ever present. Love, connection, joy. To reject what is not there. I love that concept of that higher frequency as we delve into the definition of different words. I love words. Obviously, I use a lot of them, right? But to delve into and start to let go of the charge, the perceived meaning of what we have given these words. And they can only be a reflection of the consciousness we're holding, see, because we give them value. So annihilate it. Might feel a little prickly. Think again. Reject what is not there. To look at and consider how we perceive the world gives us the opportunity to move back into those challenges and those possibilities that are in the present moment. We've had a really great week of talking about this new year. We talked about launching into it. Thomas Merton was called to be in his hermitage and did look at the possibility of what else there was that he could be and do. When we talked about yesterday of letting our life speak, that's what he did. Therein lies the peace of God, as we allow our lives to speak. Now, being in a hermitage probably isn't something that would fit real well with me. I might get a little antsy, but it is about recognizing the possibilities in the now moment, and to be doing that with courage and faith and hope. And to know that we are one with the divine mind, and therefore we will express into that if we stay out of the way. I am the only one in the room that ever gets in my own way. Reject what is not there. The absence of love is not there. Reject the concept that you could ever be anywhere that the divine is not. Where can you go that you reach beyond the infinite edges of the divine? Even in the depths and the darkness of our hearts sometimes. We go those places. We do those things. Life gives us the opportunity to look at that. And even there is God. There is love. There is comfort. And therein lies the presence of God. You just can't get too far away when you live in the infinite presence. You just can't. So be it a hermitage, I don't know, or a shopping mall. The thing is to remember the divine nature of who you are and be present to that. It makes it much easier to see it in each other, I notice. So I celebrate this new project with you, James. We will hold that in consciousness. We will see it easy. And we will also know that you and the process are blessing all of us. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Penny. Thank you, Vicky. Thanks to all of you. You know, this is simply a reminder to live into what we consider to be our motto or our call to being here in the Namaste experience. Only love, only God, only now. It's that simple. It really is. To say this is the only thing that I'm focused on now, the only thing I want, the only thing that's important to me, to live in love, to reject what isn't, not in anger or in any negative way. To have contempt for something that is not real is simply the recognition of that which is real, and to give all of our attention and focus there. And yes, there will be times, just as there were for Thomas Merton, where he wonders, am I in the right place? Am I doing the right thing? Shouldn't I be out there? Shouldn't I be doing more? And the lesson and the teaching is there is nothing more than love. Just love exactly where you are. Love the one you're with, as Stephen Stills would sing. And to that, we say, Amen, Amen, Amen y punto. Have an amazing day. I'm going to, in a second here, we'll turn it over to Scott, and any of you who want to hang out there on the Zoom world can do so. But for the rest of you, have a beautiful day, and we'll see you again on Monday. Namaste.